Because foundational Black Americans are in a three-headed war ourselves. Black Americans have long faced institutional exclusion, citing in segregated schools, redline housing, discriminatory lending, and bias. In the new onslaught of AI-created racist video clips that I know a lot of you guys have been seeing. I know that a lot of you guys have been seeing this. They've been showing a multiple of AI-created videos that's showing all sorts of discriminatory, bigoted, AI-created racial video clips. Black people sitting down eating watermelon and chicken, just increasing and compounding on hundreds of years of stereotypes, showing Black Americans very degenerate, as if we don't have a small conclave and population that they could get it in real time, but they want to perpetuate this narrative throughout media, as if we haven't been through some of the systematic pressures and groups of people who are bigots, who are discriminatory in their behavior, who are racist, as if we have not been through this. Because a lot of these emerging AI tools riff on centuries-old tropes, depicting Black America as animalistic and dangerous or incompetent. And studies show advanced AI models hide covert racism. Speakers of Black American English are more likely to be deemed unfit for prestigious jobs or even sentenced more harshly, even if not labeled as Black explicitly. These deep-rooted biases replicate centuries of structural denial, police brutality, and racial terror. It occurs as if we don't have the reports. The second front is direct violence, state-sanctioned brutality, lack of accountability, and daily harassment of Black neighborhoods. Daily harassments within our Black neighborhoods. These discriminatory systems dehumanize Black life, amplifying the social shunning described above, because citizens, complicit, officials, indifferent, and institutions slow to reform all contribute to the ongoing assault on Black bodies. This is why a lot of us are not geared to just jump on board to go out here and beat feet and pound the pavement for illegal immigration that has been working against foundational Black Americans. And here's the thing. Americans know this. White Americans know this. Hispanic Americans know this. Asian Americans know this. And all the other people from all the other country, they know this. If you keep quiet, are you complicit? If they drop a large demographic of people in the Black community, beside the Black community, and deny Black Americans loans, but allow other groups of people to get loans, what do you call that? Even when we have the credit score, because I know someone's going to bring that up, even when we have the assets to back up the loan, is that not systematic racism? I'm just asking for a friend, because these are some of the things that we do need to talk about during this time. Because while not a war on immigrants themselves, because this is not about immigrants themselves, but how the system has used legal and illegal immigration for the displacement economically of foundational Black Americans. Prove me wrong. Because immigration policies has materially harmed low-skilled Black workers, those blue-collar jobs. Reports found that illegal immigrants who overwhelmingly hold less than a high school education, listen, they hold less than a high school education, 60 to 70% crowd into low-skilled labor sectors. We're talking about construction, hospitality, food service, retail, and they suppress wages for Native workers, especially Black men without diplomas. We have declines in Black high school dropout employment rates correlate with rising immigration and even higher incarceration rates among marginalized Black men. Because, you know, they're raising and lifting up our Black women. It should be a four-headed war. It should be a four-headed war, because we see Black American women online speaking down to and denigrating Black men. Why is that? Because the system itself has pitted Black women against the Black man the same way they did in slavery. They used black women to keep black men in check so they wouldn't run away, and they would continue to work until their last dying day. They used the black woman. And in some regards, they're using the black woman by raising the black woman to be head of the household, and most single mothers, to shun out black men. Because why would we empower your fighting force? Why would we empower the head of families? How do you win a war when you have 100-man front? You take the strongest, the smartest, and you make them unavailable. You make them absent. You make them incompetent. You deny opportunities. Anytime a group of people have been denied opportunities, they have been denied resources. I want you to look at their local economies. I want you to look at their crime rates. See, if Black Americans were afforded the same opportunities at the same rate, okay, don't get me wrong, there have been Black Americans who have been afforded opportunities. This is not a monolith that all Black people have been blocked. No. But a significant amount have been blocked to the point where they can look at certain crime rates and say, well, look how you guys are acting. Look at the crimes you guys are committing. And here's another thing. You guys can look at the FBI data for yourself. Most violent crimes in America are not committed by Black Americans. They are not. And historical analysts demonstrate that when immigration was restricted, referring to the Immigration Act of 1924, Black wages and labor market standing improved significantly through the mid-20th century. Equality and inequality dropped until the 1965 overturn ushered in mass immigration again. So constantly we have reports and evidence and proof that immigration, legal and illegal, has decimated and devastated and harmed Black communities economically. The damage continues. City resources diverted towards immigrant services, cheap labor undermining union strength, and subsidized business ventures in Black neighborhoods that hire outsiders, leaving Black communities as mere consumers while capital drains out. That's why a lot of us are broke. Not just because we overspend and we want every single thing that we see on social media so we can be like the stars, the entertainers, the rappers, the athletes. No, it's much more than that. See, this is not a war against individuals from immigrant backgrounds. It is not. It is a war fought through systematic structures, federal and state incentives. Let's not forget what the Democrats have done. The Democrats had incentivized people who illegally enter our country and have awarded them and linked them up with American businessmen so they can have jobs and opportunities. And in that state, they have also provided shelter, whether it be luxury apartments or houses or shelters, community centers, churches. And a lot of these structures and buildings and places to live have been in the Black community. That creates tension between people who are foreign to the land and those who are native to the land. So now we have infighting. See, in the system of white supremacy, to them, this is probably some sort of sick joke. And let me point this out as a disclaimer. Not all white people are part of the system of white supremacy. So let's just nip that in the bud. But for those, they know exactly who I'm talking to. But this is a sick joke. Let's drop them off in the Black community, for they can have infighting, because a lot of these groups that come to America have a sense of white supremacy ideology, that Black people are less than. So they don't value Black life, even though they set up shop in Black communities, because that is where the government will allow them to build their businesses, while they ostracize Black American businesses. So now we have to go to people who look at us as less than and buy our products and services from them. So we have to look at this very strategically, because again, this is a war fought through systematic structures, both federal and state. We have predatory labor markets and racially biased algorithmic systems combined with historic exclusion and police violence. Black Americans face an assault from three directions. depleting social capital, economic opportunity, and dignity. Citizenship is not a costume. You pay for it in blood, as we did with the 14th Amendment. Foundational Black Americans didn't immigrate to America. We built the system they now exploit. And I know what you guys are going to say. Well, illegal immigrants come here and they work hard. And my response is always, well, God damn it, we work hard. We work hard. Growth in immigration has suppressed wages. They have depressed a lot of the Black wages, eroded job security, and strained public services, especially in our communities. Meanwhile, the privilege of birthright citizenship is being weaponized. It is being weaponized. Because they would like to tell us, well, after they're done with deporting illegal immigrants that are illegally in the country, they're now coming for you. They're now coming from Black Americans, because if he overturns the 14th Amendment, which he has never stated, he is trying to get concise clarity on what the 14th Amendment was really about, making Black Americans that was released from slavery to be citizens and their children. They're acting as if we're playing tug of war with our country. No, we are not. They want us to fight with them to keep people who never supported Black Americans as a whole. I know there's been a couple, don't get me wrong, but they want us to go out there and pound the pavement and raise the flag high in these anti-ICE protests. And the only question I think that most of us has is, are you illegal or legally in the country? Well, there's a great amount of us that are legal and illegal. Oh, okay, that's too convoluted. We don't want to get involved with other people's struggles and protests, especially when you have not shown the same support for us. That'd just be stupid. Well, after they get rid of us, they're going to get rid of you. That's what I would like to believe. But if we talk about it, the privilege of birthright citizenship is being weaponized. Birth certificates are used to access housing subsidies, health care, education resources historically denied to Black families. Meanwhile, AI and media reinforce the white supremacist narrative. They're using all sorts of AI video clips, and I didn't want to show any of it. It's just so despicable. It's only showing the racism, where we're trying to make our lives better. A lot more of us are going to higher education and trades and schools. So while we read, they bleed for us to die, for us to be limited, to show us in a subservient position, to show dominance and power. See, I wonder, and a lot of people would like to believe, do these people who deal in racism and bigotry and discrimination, do they want all Black people to vanish from America, to vanish from the face of the earth? I don't think so, because then who will you hate? Oh, you guys are moving to the Asians? You guys are moving to the Hispanics? You guys are moving to the Middle Easterners? Who would you move it to? Because a lot of these people align and look very similar. So there'll be a portion of them that you will, then another portion that you won't. They'll change their name. They'll blend in because they can skin in. All these different things that could occur. So now you have all these people that look similar to you in your ranks, but still loyal to their group. That will implode, but Black people very easily. You see, we have this thing called melanin, and melanin have all sorts of health benefits and protections from the sun, at the same time absorbing a little bit of vitamin D. But we can easily point you guys out. You have a different phenotype and bone construction. You have high cheekbones. You got a little knot in the back of your head. You have a different body composition. It's very easy. It's very easy. You guys are just so strong. So how we dismantle Black progression? We use other people as an old tall tale that we've been doing for a very long time. But they use these things basically and historically that has denied opportunities and resources to our Black families. And as stated before, AI and media reinforce the white supremacist narrative, casting Black Americans as dangerous or degenerate, while uplifting illegal and legal immigrants as industrious or deserving. And this narrative is a tool, a cruel aim at delegitimizing Black presence and claim to the American promise. There's a cause to arm because there's some things that must change. There's a lot of things that must change in this country. We must disrupt systematic exclusion and invest in a Black-owned business, restrict predatory bans, and insist on local hiring mandates. And this AI thing, a lot of people see it as very innocent, but even some of the early releases of AI information, even textile, have deemed, based upon the prompts that you create AI in, can be very discriminatory. So AI needs to be regulated, ladies and gentlemen. Demand oversight of AI system, hold platforms accountable when they dehumanize Black voices or mimic racist tropes. Because again, you are influencing people. There used to just be a couple of bigots and racists and people who are white supremacists online doing videos, but now they're using AI. And here's the thing, they can use Black people to denigrate Black people as if we don't have enough. They're showing us similar to gorillas as if they don't show those pictures over in China. There's a global system of white supremacy, but now they're using AI. We need to rebuild labor justice because immigration has totally deconstructed that. We need unions that really support the people. Do we have that yet? I don't know if we even have that. They're trying to convince us that the president is trying to take away birthright citizenship from Black Americans, but I'll show you guys the clip. And they, again, have been incentivized to come to our country to box out Americans, especially foundational Black Americans, with cheap labor. So we need to go to our policymakers and push for labor protections, enforcement of wage laws, and prioritization of Black workers in sectors historically dominated by us. Historically. But in the past 20 so odd years, it's been dominated by illegal and legal immigrants. We need also to reassert foundational citizenship, recognize that foundational Black Americans are not guests, we have not immigrated, and that we have built this nation. Because for some reason, they don't believe we work hard. Oh, that's what we came here. They work hard. They work hard. Who gonna get into the fruit fields? So when I look at this, we're fighting on three fronts with no shield. And the only thing that we have is our resolve. We've been denied resources, policed into submission, and economically sidelined, but we are not victims. We are architects of resilience. We are architects of resistance. We refuse to stand aside while our communities are sacrificed for others' gains. And again, we built, we bled, and we belong. There would be no tug of war. And I really degraded the level of a three-way war on Black America. It's probably a lot more than that. We have the system and people like, well, show us the evidence, show us the proof. You're saying this, that, and the other. Do I have to continue to do this over and over again? The internet has been the biggest supporters of free information in this world. And if you can't see what the system has done, if you can't see those police officers who deal in brutality of Black Americans, and if you cannot see the economic displacement that legal and illegal immigration has done by the way of the system, no less. Again, this is not anti-immigrant. This is anti-illegal immigrant, but this is not anti-legal immigrant. I want to make sure I make that distinction very, very clearly, because it's very important to point that out, because a lot of people, when you say certain things, they take it somewhere that it never meant to go. So I want to be very clear. Even when we talk about legal immigration, I want you to think about people who are not of your own kin, who operate within these closed, small communities that have now put up all the businesses. They don't share your culture. They don't share your traditions. The only thing that they share is the exchange of commerce back and forth from your hand and into their pockets. So we're not understanding how this three-headed war between the system, economic displacement, and discriminations and bigotry. We cannot get laws with all these things that are going around in the world. We should be protesting against the Israeli state here in America so they can stop killing innocent Palestinians. I feel for that. But would I be protesting against it? Absolutely not. But I don't want those atrocities to happen to those very innocent people. Just as well, I don't want war with Israel and Iran. Just as well, I don't want war with Ukraine and Russia. Just as well, I don't want innocent families to be harmed as they're getting deported. But here's the problem. Black Americans have been supporting all these people for years, just for a large portion of them, enough to get online and make video clips about how it's okay for them to say the N-word, even though they know what that word means. But we say it, so it's good for them to say it. And a couple of Black people allow them to say it. That is one small example. And all the other different groups of people who've lied and coerced. And you guys already know it's just so much. But the one group of people that we definitely need to support are Americans who support us, and we definitely need to support ourselves.